this is Cindy from Stamped with Aloha, and in this video today I'm going to teach you how to create a birthday card using Stampin' Up's Tune In bundle. Super excited to show you this card, so let's go ahead and get started. So the Tune In stamp set looks like this, and here is just the outside of the card that I'm going to be showing you. I want to save the inside as a surprise because I created this as a customized card for a dear friend whose birthday just happens to be today. So to get started, we need to take 2 pieces of black cardstock. These are both cut at 4 1/4 by 11. Now on the one piece of cardstock, we are going to place it in our trimmer here. We're going to line it up at 5 1/2 inches and we are going to score it right down the middle. And then I'm going to bring it over to 2 inches and I'm going to score it at 2 inches. Okay? And then we'll just go ahead and fold this in. On the second piece of cardstock, we are going to just place this in and line this up at 5 1/2 inches, and we're going to just do that center score line. And then this one will get folded in half. For our next step, I'm going to open up the card, and on this section here, the 2-inch section, I'm going to take a 2-inch circle punch, and I'm going to just punch out a little bit out of the end here, and this is going to form a notch for our gift card pocket. Okay, since this is going to be a gift card pocket, I'm going to get out my adhesive and I'll be using my multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on each side of that little pocket and fold it in, and that will form a little pocket. Okay, we're going to let that dry. Then we're going to open up the base card here that was only scored down the middle. We're going to take this card and we're going to glue it on the inside. We're going to glue those 2 black cardstocks together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just place adhesive. And then we'll take and place that inside there. And now our 2 cards have become 1. It'll fold up like that. All right, next let's go over the size of designer series paper you're going to need for this project. So for the outside and inside of the card, the first thing you're going to need is 2 pieces of designer series paper that are 3 1/2 inches by 5 1/2 inches. I'm using the Everyday Happiness designer paper. Also, I'll be using the back side of that paper by cutting 2 identical strips that are 2 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then we also need 2 pieces of solid cardstock. I'll be using Lost Lagoon, and these are cut at 2 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. Okay, let's go ahead and layer these onto the front of the card. So on the front panel here, we're going to put this side up. So I'm going to put my adhesive on the gingham side and glue this down. And that should go all the way across the front of the card. Okay, and then we're going to take on the plaid side. This is the part that's going to show, so I'm going to put some glue onto the yellow side of the designer paper. We're going to center this, and then we're going to place this onto the front of the card so that just a little bit of that yellow is showing. Okay, now what I did here on the front, we're going to open up the card, and on the inside panel, I'm going to do the exact same thing. All right, so now that that's done, let's go ahead and add a couple more pieces to the inside of our card. So I have a large piece of designer series paper, the same color combination. This was cut at 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to adhere this to this left panel of the card right here. And then finally, to highlight our little gift card pocket, I'm going to just take a little strip of the cardstock, also showing the blue gingham side. And this little strip is 1 inch by 4 1/4 inches. So I'll add some adhesive to the back, and then we'll go ahead and highlight our little pocket here. All right, so now all of our designer series paper has been laid out on the card, and now we're ready to do some stamping. All right, we're going to begin with a scrap of pecan pie cardstock, And then I have the TV image from that stamp set. I'm gonna go ahead and ink up the stamp. And then stamp that classic TV. All right, once you have the TV stamped, you're going to take this die and you're going to place it on there. And then you're also going to take a second die, which I've misplaced somewhere on my table, but that second die is going to go right here. And then you're going to run that through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and the end result is going to be this one. Okay, you're going to do this right here 2 times so that you'll have 2 classic television sets. Now, another one of the dies that we're going to be using is this one here to create an antenna. And I went ahead and did 2 of those. And you're going to be die cutting that out of any type of metallic cardstock. I used like a gold foil paper. And then I also used one of the dies in the set to create these little tiny knobs for the TV. And I did those out of the metallic paper as well. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to assemble both televisions by adding a little bit of my adhesive. All right, so now our TVs are ready, and we are next going to add the glass of the TV. So I have 2 pieces of window sheet, and rather than die cut them with the die that comes with this set, I just went ahead and cut them on my paper trimmer at 2 by 2.5 inches. And again, you're going to need 2 of these. And then what you'll do is just flip this over. You'll add a little line of adhesive around the back, and you'll glue this on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. All right, so those are almost done. So I'm gonna just put them to the side for a minute, and we're gonna do a couple more pieces that we need for this card. So we are going to take a 2 1/4 punch, and we're gonna punch out a Poppy Parade circle, and then we're going to punch out a 2-inch white circle. So for our stamping, we want the, on the 2-inch white circle, we want it to say, "Your Classic." So I'm gonna get out my Memento ink, and I'm going to stamp that right in the center of the circle. Now I want to then layer that onto here. But in order to conserve paper, I wanted to add some accents with this die here. We're going to put these accents on the front of the card. If you remember, the front of the card looks like this. So I want to add these little accents on the front of the card. And so to conserve some paper, I'm going to run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And when I'm done, it's gonna look like that. So now we've saved a little bit of paper, and then we'll go ahead and just place a line of adhesive around the outer edges so it doesn't seep through those holes. And then we'll glue that on and cover up. And that just helped us to conserve a little bit of paper. All right, now for this sentiment here, we also wanna add a little bit of embellishment. So I used another one of the dies in the set, and out of our same metallic paper, I've die cut these little 3 pieces here. So I'm going to go ahead and add them to my little message here just to give it a little bit of extra sparkle. All right. For the next step, I have this die cut piece of white cardstock. I die cut this with our Postage Dies, and I'm going to stamp the words "Happy Birthday." So let me ink up my stamp, and I'm going to stamp this right in the middle. And then I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper here, and I'm going to just stamp this other little stamp here that is in the set. And I'm going to just stamp off on a scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to just add that as just a little light gray accent on each side of the sentiment. So one up there and then one down there, okay? So for our final stamping, I have this piece here, and this is the piece that's gonna go inside the back of the TV and just fit in there perfectly. So I wanna line that up and go ahead and stamp the words from the stamp set that say, "Stay tuned for an important message." So let me get out my Memento ink and ink up my stamp. And then I'm going to stamp that right in the center of that die cut piece. So to adhere this, I'm going to just place it behind there and line it up so that it's nice and straight. And then once I have it where I want it to go, I'm going to carefully turn this over, and I'm going to adhere it to the TV using dimensionals. And then the dimensionals will also just lift it up and give a little dimension to our TV on the front of the card. Okay, so put those on there, put one there, and we'll put one right there as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish the front of our card. Now on the front of the card, I'm going to take off the back of the dimensionals. Since this is our main focal point here, I'm going to just center this right on the front of the card. And then we'll use those little red accents and we'll place them above the TV. Okay, so the front of the card is done, and now let's go ahead and do the inside of the card. So we have our birthday sentiment. So, oops, you can see the magic of paper. When you goof, you can always flip it over and use the back side, and nobody's should ever know, but since I showed that to you, now you know. But I'm gonna go ahead and glue that in here. So now our sentiment is there. And then over here on the right side of the card, we're going to go ahead and glue this down flat. This is the inside of the card, so we want this to be flat, and that would be the same for the TV as well. Although it was lifted up on the front of the card with dimensionals, we want this TV to be flat. Now since that's over there, the TV is going to move slightly over here. But what to put in the TV? That's the surprise. So my friend whose birthday is today, his favorite show is MASH. He watches MASH all the time, reruns of MASH, and he can pretty much recite every episode. It's crazy. So, you know, I wanted to do a custom card. So what I did is I found a picture from the MASH show, and there you go. I have those characters that he knows so well featured in his classic TV. So I haven't given, like I said, his birthday's today. I'm going to give him this card a little late, but he knows it's because I wanted to show all of you. But he doesn't know about what's on the inside. So I know I don't know about you, but I love making personalized creations that are going to make the person that you send this card to smile. So of course there's the gift card pocket there, so you can take your gift. And I have an Amazon card here. I'm just gonna pop it in there, and there you go. You're gonna wrap it up and you have a finished card. So let me go ahead and finish this card. I thought for all of you I would feature another classic TV show. Some of you may know. This one is gonna be kind of fun because I found this picture here. The Golden Girls. You can still watch this show right now. Somebody told me recently, did you realize that we're actually older than the Golden Girl characters were when they filmed that show? And it was like, could that be true? And so anyway, I think I'm going to make this card for my friend who told me that. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. But with doing the TV like this, the neat thing is that you could put somebody's picture in here. You could take an actual photo of your grandchild or of your spouse or your sister or your coworker, and you could put them in the TV and make them the star of this card. So of course, for my friend who mentioned the Golden Girls, and we had a nice laugh about that, I went ahead and put that in there. So I'm going to just go ahead and put some adhesive around the edges. And then I'm going to tape this down so that it overlaps our little classic sentiment a tiny little bit. And there you go, another classic TV card. All right, well, that completes our classic birthday card, and I hope that this card inspired your creativity. And I'm curious to know, which classic show would you put inside of your card? Leave me a comment below and let me know. Or do you think you're going to recreate this card and feature somebody's photo in it? I'd love to hear about that as well. Well, thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll come back and stamp with me again real soon. Until then, aloha.